first 3 games. I think Duke will run an up-tempo game, whereas we're looking for Michigan to control tempo, run when they want to run, because they want to keep the crowd out of it, Michigan does. And last, take a look at Eric Bradley. He's playing 36 minutes a game. I know the Michigan coaches would like him to have more quality time, less quantity time, which puts Sam Mitchell, the 6'9" freshman, in. I think those are things we've got to look at, especially this first half.
2 important considerations if you like numbers. Duke favored by a couple of touchdowns here this afternoon. The officials, all 3 from the Big Ten. So a nice way that you don't have to travel into a tough arena and also face their officials.
A lot of people have different opinions about that. I think it's a good idea.
Michigan traveling dark jerseys, tapped to Duke, off to Hill, who breaks through, and he's fouled. He'll come to the free throw line. It's on Tolbert. He'll be shooting a pair.
You know, Brent, I've been in the position that Steve Frieder is in. I know one of the things you're trying to accomplish is get to the first TV timeout. This is the first game Michigan's played on the road. So you want to say, hey, guys, get me to the TV timeout without getting a blowout here early by the Duke Blue Devils.
The son of former football great Calvin Hill with his father and mother watching from the stands here this afternoon. 6'7" freshman out of Reston, Virginia. There is the big fellow watching his son, and is he ever proud of him? He puts the Blue Devils up by 1. Pressure from Duke. This is what Jimmy said they have to control here today. Talley, number 14, brings it now across the timeline for Michigan. Riley out high, great pass to Caleb. Reverse, puts Michigan ahead. Lead pass, Palmer, baseline cut off, jump shot.
Brent, Duke got beat on an excellent backdoor play. One thing about playing man-to-man, you may beat him once. It's hard to beat him the second time. It's a learning-type defense.
Michigan always uses a big man to take the ball out of bounds, and that is silly foul on McCaffrey in the backcourt as he was trying to steal the ball here early. From the side, you'll see Setter, number 34. He's a bit of a physical wreck. He underwent all of that nerve surgery on his right elbow, and then he has dislocated a finger on that hand. He came to school, recruited a right-hander, and you'll see him toss him up left-handed. Caleb brings the ball to the attack. Talley. Back now to Setter. Riley has a problem when the ball goes down. Talley will come baseline, cut off now. Tolbert comes up firing.
I'll tell you, it almost turned over, but that's what Duke's going to do the entire game. It's a lot of pressure.
There's Palmer again, and it was blocked by Riley. That's his specialty.
Yeah, he leads the Wolverines and is one of the top shot blockers in the country. He needs to get a head fake. That time Palmer went right up. Don't do that against a shot blocker.
Michigan with an early 4-3 lead, and Tolbert can't get it to fall. Hill rebounding. Now it's Hurley, the point man. Looking for daylight. Great pass to Leitner. Beautiful. Stepping inside of Hurley, and he gets help down low. And there is the turnover from the pivot man. Couldn't handle the pass. McCaffrey, and Caleb hustles back with a steal.
The difference in those 2 plays, right? Bobby Hurley makes the good decision. That time, Billy McCaffrey, not a good decision. One's a basket, the other's a turnover.
Outlet pass to Hurley again. Caleb is all over the floor, offensively and defensively, showing that quickness. He got back to help out. McCaffrey's 3 puts Duke on the lead. It's 8-4. Talley spins around Hurley on a dribble and comes up with a jumper. Michigan just can't get the shots to fall. They're getting good shots here. There is the baseline foul on Hill. Fisher calling out the play to the Wolverine offense. The first road game for Michigan. They have won 3 in a row back in Ann Arbor, and there is another turnover down low. This one by Tolbert. Bust to Hill for the layup.
Bobby Hurley makes two outstanding plays, and Duke did a great job.
A couple of upset-minded teams. Butler beat Notre Dame earlier this week. Bowling Green knocked off Michigan State. It's a 14-point lead at halftime. Right now, let's get back to Cameron Indoor Stadium to Brent and Jim. Gentlemen.
John, thank you. And here it is 10-4. Hurley with 4 assists, and Coach Fisher used an early timeout.
Brent, I mentioned that when you're on the road, you're trying to get to that first TV timeout. Unfortunately, Coach Fisher couldn't get there. He had to burn one before the 16-minute mark.
Setter will take the ball out of bounds for the Wolverines, facing this pressure defense. Now, Michigan has had its shots. They just can't get the ball to fall here in the early going. 17-15, first half. Palmer jumps out on Talley, now quickly gets back in on the inside. Well-coached defensive team under Mike Krzyzewski. Setter tries to find the postman, and they turn it over one more time. That's 3 early turnovers in this game. Cameron, you're wondering how tough it is to win here. Jimmy told you the last time they lost to Louisville in '83, they've won 60 straight non-conference games in this building. The half-court offensive set for the Blue Devils. They have been getting it done on the break so far. McCaffrey pressured outside. Here is Hurley. If he has any weakness, it's with his outside shooting. Into Hill. Hill puts it down and traveled. Took the step before he got the ball on the floor, and it goes over to the Wolverines.
Talked about it before, the importance of footwork. And young players, Grant Hill made a nice head fake, ball fake, but to coordinate the whole move, sometimes you get that traveling call.
Setter comes out, and Mitchell, the freshman, checks in. Sam Mitchell, 6'9", fine-looking youngster, but we emphasize youngster. He's still learning, as is this team, and they almost turn it over again. They get it back to Taylor, who's also off the bench, and now he has traveled.
You can't emphasize it enough. We talked about it as one of the keys to the game. Duke hasn't converted as much as really they could have, so Michigan should feel fortunate to be only 6 down. Duke
leads at 10-4, and as of yet, they have not gotten Christian Laettner into the half-court game. He is a fine shooter from the baseline. Hurley looks for him now. Lost the handle, got it back. Off the double team, looks for the open man, and threw it into the hands of Mitchell. Intercepted right back by Duke. Here's Hill off the dribble. Strong rebound by Taylor of Michigan.
Duke is in the man-to-man, and they'll play man-to-man really a tie game. They have a little matchup zone, but they only go to it if they're in foul trouble.
Again, problems. They can't get the ball into the post. Oh, they get a break, though. Winds up in Tolbert's hands for the layup.
You know, Brent, you wonder sometimes the effects of a big game. Duke had a very physical game against Georgetown, and they're playing well on the defensive end, but on the offensive end, they're really not executing as I know Coach K would like them to.
Hurley coming in was fouled by Talley.
And I think the effects of a tough game, Mike Krzyzewski, as we see, is going to the bench. He's going pretty quickly.
Davis, Lang, and Hill check in. Now this is Thomas Hill, number 12. Palmer sits down, as does McCaffrey and Grant Hill. So Laettner remains on the floor. The left-handed shot not there. Michigan powering in for the rebound, and the foul goes against Duke. That was Davis. He's very active and quick around the basket, coming up over the top. The lead is 10-6 at 15:20. Duke has been unable to extend its lead after that timeout.
Yeah, we're in the run period now. I think Michigan, as we said, had to withstand the early onslaught. They did, not because Duke isn't playing well offensively. Now we're in a part of the game where someone will have a run. One of these two clubs is going to put together a run of 3 baskets, 4 baskets to change the complexion of the game.
Michigan can't get a post offense going. Now they try to get it to Tolbert. They've turned it over down on the inside. Outlet off Hurley's head. He's got it back. Bad pass. Threw it right into a lane that was well defended. Riley with an easy intercept for Michigan. Taylor steps on the outside. Hill taking him. Now it is Talley. Look how far away from the glass the Wolverines are. They try to set up and draws the charge. Nice defense there by Hill.
One thing that Mike Krzyzewski's clubs always do well is take offensive fouls. This is just a case of a switch. They stepped in the way. Now, I was at practice yesterday, and Coach K told his guards, let's look for the charge on the drives, and he saw it right here in the first 6 minutes of play. He got one.
Probably learned some of that from Bobby Knight when he played at West Point under the General.
That's right, and I played against Coach K when Bobby Knight was coaching there, and he said one time, we were at a clamp, he said, hey, Valvano's a pretty good player. This is Knight talk. He said, we'll hold him to Zippo next year, but he was wrong. I scored 4.
Inside to Leitner with the jump shot, facing the hoop.
Another thing that they talked about at practice yesterday was catching the ball, not bouncing it, facing up. Leitner did that. Might have got away with a walk there. He got 2 points.
Caleb can't get it to fall, but Halley hustles, and Riley coming in was fouled by Leitner. And Riley will come up to the free throw line and shoot a pair. When you watch Riley at the free throw line, notice just how skinny he is. And Mike Krzyzewski saying to the referees that was a travel on the far side. This is a young man that Jim Valvano would obviously have ordered to go often to the fine Italian restaurants around Ann Arbor and start to bulk up a little bit.
Well, I'll tell you, the one thing he does have, though, is a wingspan, you know, of a jet. And that's what helps him to really, his timing's good. He's blocked 5 shots per game.
What you're saying is that if he flies, it's okay if he's not a wide body.
Well, that too, and I'm not going to call him skinny because I'm not sure who's watching out there from his family. I think he's lean. Wiry.
Kubek comes in, and Leitner sits down. There was a familiar face there next to him, Jay Billis, who played on that team that was beaten by Louisville for a national championship. Seems like we see the Blue Devils every year, and we do. 3 straight Final Fours. Hurley turns it over. Bust out now. Caleb behind the back, coming in with a left-handed layout.
Here is an opportunity. You know, Mike Krzyzewski's gone to his bench. An important ingredient in his team is Christian Leitner is on the Pines. Who knows? This could be a run for Michigan right now.
It's only a 2-point game, 12-10. Duke has been sluggish since that early timeout. Kubek short, but Davis with an offensive putback. On the floor for the Wolverines, Talley and Sutter, along with Taylor, Caleb, and Riley. This is a small, quick lineup for the Wolverines that Fisher has out against the Blue Devils here at the 13-12 mark. Hurley anticipating with the steal. He'll come in on Talley. Missing the layup. Sutter is back, and they were out of bounds. It goes over. I thought it was almost a jump ball when the two of them went out of bounds.
Another missed opportunity for the Blue Devils, and I know Michigan feels very, very fortunate to be only down by 4 points. Neither team playing particularly well, Brent.
Here's Caleb, hit from behind. No foul, controlled by Duke. Davis, and now the Devils will come down with Hill, Hurley running the floor. Davis, Kubek, and in on the ends, tied Lang. And Antonio shot his block, but Kubek's got it back. Now it's Hurley passing inside. Lang is there. It's Michigan's ball.
Michigan has the tempo where they want it. It's right now a half-court game. They're dictating tempo.
Riley puts it down. I don't think you want him dribbling too much. Now it's over to Duke. Here's Kubek. To Davis. Off to Hill. It's a 6-point Blue Devil lead. Time remaining first half. ACC, which was bloodied this week by the Big East, coming back here now against the Big Ten. Michigan predicted to be in the middle of the Big Ten this year. Most everyone thinks that Indiana and Ohio State, and when the season was underway, they were touting Michigan State, but some of the folks now have fallen off that bandwagon. Taylor keeps the dribble. They let him go. And Riley comes back, and a chance for a 3-pointer here.
Not typical of a Duke defensive team. in order to have a guy penetrate that far from the top of the key, Duke usually gets a body on him, and secondly, is not to block out. As you see, Lang has great position. Two things atypical of Duke, allowing penetration and then allowing a secondary shot.
Well, tomorrow, a special edition of ABC's Wide World of Sports. From the island paradise of Hawaii, the most grueling event of its kind, the Bud Light Ironman Triathlon World Championship, plus the world's top male gymnasts compete. The all-around gold at the World Cup Gymnastics Championships. Coverage begins tomorrow on ABC at 4 Eastern. Take a break here as Michigan continues to hang tough at the Cameron.
Ryan Williams and the undefeated Arizona Wildcats take on Shaquille O'Neal and the LSU Tigers. It's game 2 as ABC's college basketball doubleheader continues.
Look at where Michigan is huddling.
I'll tell you, don't tell me the arena doesn't affect your coaching. They're out in the middle of the floor. Why? Because you actually sit in the stands. And I remember my first year here, the Duke students, I'd say, let's get it in the post. They'd yell, get into post, get into post. I'd say, let's change the zone. They'd say, don't go to zone. My second year, I corrected that, Brent. I brought 11 football players with me. And when I called the timeout, they'd stand up. And then I'd peek behind them. I'd say to the fans, you got any suggestions now? But this arena does affect how you coach.
Did you have the football coach Sheridan recruit any bodyguards? Is that what he was looking for?
I should have had him coach the team. He also coached the state championship team in high school basketball to Sheridan.
McCaffrey, Palmer, Leitner, and a turnover. Here comes Caleb busting out for the Wolverines. He misses the layup. Back to Hill. That would have pulled him to within 1. Big chance here for Duke. And on the drive, out of control, it'll be Duke ball. Duke ball. It looked for a moment like they were going to turn it over again, but they did not.
And Steve Fisher is saying, no, just go. You make a great play. Get it over the rim. We're not looking for a 9.6 degree of difficulty here. You know something? Not only is a miss, it sometimes changes a little of the game because you would have been juiced up emotionally and also that emotion's down. But again, Duke unable to take it.
Foul on Leitner. That's number 2 on Christian Leitner here early at the 11-minute mark. Krzyzewski with a decision to make.
Big decision right now. Coaches, you make it. Do you keep your best player in with 2 fouls? Do you sit him down and put him in the second half? Dean Smith always takes him out, plays in the second half. Al McGuire used to say, hey, he's your best, let him stay out there. Let's see what Mike does. He tends to take them out. We'll see.
6 team fouls already against Duke. Remember this year, at the 10-foul mark, they'll shoot twice the rest of the way in the first and second half. This one is down on the inside, away from the ball. And Duke already with 6. Now 3 team fouls against Michigan.
Michigan has done exactly what it wanted to do in the first 10 minutes. They've controlled tempo. The crowd is not involved. Leitner's got some foul problems. They got to feel pretty good right now.
That was Riley's first personal as it went against Michigan. So put the Wolverines down for 4 teams. They're down by 3. They go back on defense against the Blue Devils. McCaffrey and Hurley back at guard together. This is McCaffrey.
McCaffrey has really been a real spark for them. He's averaging 17 points a game. I'm a little surprised Christian Leitner is still in there.
Caleb is taking a one-on-one challenge against Hurley. He's bringing it up now. Sets the table. Setter is free on Palmer. Tries to get it into Riley, who gets bumped all the way out beyond the three-point line. Now it's Caleb. Along with Setter. Taylor and Tolbert are down on the inside. Caleb misfiring again. McCaffrey runs it down in the corner, but he stepped out of bounds. Michigan ball.
Billy McCaffrey, offensively, he's really done the job, but he's been a spark with his hustle. Unfortunately here, a little slip, and out he goes. But great hustle, so Mike's got to be happy. Mike Krzyzewski's got to be happy about that.
Michigan goes back bigger with Caleb sitting down. Mitchell checks in with Riley.
I'm Coach Fisher. What am I thinking? I got to go right at Christian Leitner. I think that's why we got this substitution. They got to go inside.
Hill deflects the ball out of bounds.
just like a chess match. You're going to lose the advantage here unless I think you try within your offense to go inside to the big guy.
Riley gets away from Leitner. Leitner could not help out too much. Michigan does not get the roll. Out of bounds, Duke ball.
Another problem with a player with 2 fouls who normally is aggressive is maybe he says, I think I won't get involved in this particular play. As you saw that, you know, Christian doesn't want to get his 3rd foul.
That was a 2. 20 to 13 and 9:22 in the first half. And pounding defense by Hill forces another turnover. Lang checks into the game. Leitner continues to play, so it'll be Lang and Leitner up front. Hurley and McCaffrey in the backcourt. And Hill, of course, who forced that turnover with some splendid defense.
Coach Krzyzewski's going to a set play here. The double screen for the freshman.
And Hill.
That's when you love coaching from the bench. He called it 2 points. Give Coach K a bucket on that one.
Duke starting to pull up now. Michigan needing another spurt. 22-13 is the score with plenty of time left here in the first half. Tolbert hits Talley on the break. Missed the shot off Lang. It's Michigan's ball. Well, coming up at halftime, John Saunders will be live in the ABC College Basketball Studio. He'll have scores highlights. Beth Ruyak will talk with Duke coach Mike Krzyzewski. That's coming up at halftime here on ABC. Here in Durham, North Carolina, Duke 22, Michigan 13. The Wolverines unbeaten, 3 non-conference wins at home. There's Sutter's first shot on the turnaround.
Sutter had that block. He shot it lefty. Should have put it up right-handed if, in fact, he is ambidextrous.
McCaffrey, and he's fouled. Drew the foul from Caleb on the fake.
Duke usually likes to try to score on their out-of-bounds plays.
McCaffrey pulls the trigger.
Set play. That's a set play out of bounds. Some teams just bring it in. Others go for the score.
Duke has built an 11-point lead at the 8-minute mark of the first half. Riley has it knocked away. He has a lot of trouble handling the ball in the post.
That's why you got to get in. It was awfully close to a really cheap foul, but it could have been called that time. Leitner reaching in.
Into Riley, knocked away again. And Duke can extend this run to 10-0 if they can convert here. Up to Hill. There's a 10-0 run for him. And turnovers are the difference. Michigan, 12 turnovers.
Christian Leitner not having his normal great game, but excellent passing.
Timeout at the Cameron.
Welcome back, everyone. Duke with a big lead over Michigan, and missing from the banners up above the Cameron Indoor Stadium Arena are the 1990 banners from the NCAA Final Four tournament. Coach Krzyzewski says the season isn't complete because 3 of his players from that team have not graduated. Success with academics and athletics, very important here at Duke. Brent, Jim?
Mark, thank you very much. With Mark Jones and Jim Valvano, I'm Brett Musburger. We have 7:17 to go in the first half. Duke has opened up a 13-point lead, 26-13. They have done it on shooting of 63% while holding Michigan to only 36%. The Wolverines 5 of 14 and they are 0 of 6 outside that paint area, but they've been having difficulty shipping it inside. Demetrius Caleb, the holdover from their championship team, stops the run with the field goal to make it 26-15.
Leitner now is out of the game, and I know Coach Krzyzewski probably felt we got a nice cushion here, get him out. Steve Fisher called his second timeout awfully early. He's only got 1 left for the rest of the game.
McCaffrey missing, but it's Hill, a freshman.
He doesn't play like a freshman, does he, Brent? He's awfully poised out there.
9 words to describe him, Coach. And foul on the outside on the shot. McCaffrey down on the floor. And I think they're just going to mop up a spot down there is what they're going to do. No foul was the call on that. They're going to come out and mop up the floor, and Mike Krzyzewski comes out to check on McCaffrey, who went down hard and now is going to come out of the game. So with Leitner joined on the bench by McCaffrey, it will be both Hills on the floor with Hurley, Lang, and Davis for the Blue Devils.
You're the Michigan coach, and you see 2 starters on the bench. There's 6:29 go. Here's the time. You got to try and get that lead from 13. You just want to get it under 10 points before you go into halftime. This is the opportunity to do so.
Mitchell on the drive has it rejected. Now the 5 on the floor for the Wolverines are Talley, Tolbert, Caleb, Sutter, and Mitchell. Riley is out. This is Sutter. Handing off to Caleb. On the drive, he has it blocked, but it's right in the hands of another rejection. 3 blocked shots on that sequence. Blue Devils come back. There's the pass to Hill. Blocks down on that inside, and Lang leading away. And Michigan a little tentative underneath right now. Hurley off to Hill, a spinner, and he's fouled. A few moments ago, injured guard Billy McCaffrey heading back to the Duke dressing room.
Brent, Duke, although they're shooting a high percentage, their offense is not really as efficient or effective as that would indicate. But what they are doing, and this is what I know Coach Krzyzewski loves, any coach does, they're playing excellent defense. So even though you're not going great guns on your offense, the one consistent thing that you'll have about Duke is they play solid D. So they're up 15, and it is remarkable to be up 15 when you've only given your opponents 15 points. The defense has been solid.
Michigan will come down, trailing at 31-15. 5:20 to go here in the first half at the Cameron. Tolbert missing on the layup, but a good rebound by Rick McIver. He's the freshman, Rich McIver, from Freeport, Texas, 6'9", 215, who had checked into the game, and he gave a very positive moment down underneath the glass.
That play worked because of penetration, just as Hurley is penetrating. If you get penetration from the top to the basket, good things are going to happen even if you miss the shot. And there's just what we're talking about. There's Bobby Hurley going through the seams. Now, he lost it that time, but he made people come to him, and that enables passing lanes. But if you shoot it, you get follow-up shots, as Michigan did last time down.
Leitner back in the game. Hurley hits the 3.
Out of bounds play, set play for a basket for Duke again.
4:44. 34-17. Duke pulling away here in the first half. Michigan looking for a run. Taylor off a fake, ships inside.
Christian Leitner, you just wonder with 4 minutes. I know that Mike feels so confident about his ability as a junior. He's a veteran player. And you think the other side of the coin is give the guy a chance to play with fouls, because that could happen down the road with a player of his caliber.
Coach Fisher searching for a lineup that can get him back in. Riley and McIver, along with Caleb, Taylor, and Talley, are the 5 Wolverines on the floor right now. Can't find the combination that'll dig in. Talley outside the 3. Hounded by the Duke defense, and the foul is on number 12, Thomas Hill.
Foul is on Duke's number 12, Thomas Hill.
Battled pneumonia in his left lung earlier this week, but Coach K said yesterday at practice that he felt much better. the story of the game.
Duke is just shooting great percentage. I've played Duke so many times that the thing about Duke's defense right now, you saw it perfectly in that series. When you offensively are working hard to make the next pass, you can't run your offense. It'd be better to just drive to the basket, beat the guy who's guarding you. But then again, I played them about 30 times.
Penetration by Hurley won't fall. Wolverines come back on the attack. Taylor lost the dribble, turned it over again. Hurley's free. It'll be easy.
You gotta love that type of pressure and teamwork. Doing an excellent job on the D.
36-17, Duke.
See how difficult they make the next pass? When you're worried about the next pass, you can't run your offense. So beat the guy who's guarding you. Beat him.
A lot of talk this week about the ACC being down, but you've got to wonder about the depth in the Big Ten this year suddenly. Here is Hill, lead to him. And he put it down twice. Turnover by the Blue Devils. We'll take a break at 3:23 of the first half. The Blue Devils and Coach K are in command.
Hello, everyone. John Saunders in our basketball studios in New York. East Tennessee State with the lead over James Madison by 3. It's 27-24. Lefty Drizel's team is struggling. At halftime, we'll take a look at a former nemesis of Lefty Drizel, Coach K, Mike Krzyzewski of the Duke Blue Devils. And, guys, he really has the team in high gear right now with the big lead. Let's go back to Brent and Jim.
Thanks, John. Now we go downstairs to Mark Jones. Mark.
Well, guys, a basketball player's worst nightmare coming true for Billy McCaffrey of Duke. He landed on a Michigan opponent's foot and sprained his left ankle. It is a severe sprain. He will not be coming back for the game. Going to be tough to replace a two-guard like that, too.
Exactly, Mark, and one who had scored 9 points already. He is the brother of Ed McCaffrey, splendid wide receiver at Stanford who has been named to several All-American teams. And then there's a sister in the family who plays basketball at Georgetown. Very talented McCaffrey family. We hope that ankle gets well in a hurry. It's been fun to watch him. He's really improved. 36-17, Blue Devils, 3:15, Michigan in trouble. Taylor sealed up by 2 Devils. Back to Riley. Here's a shot they need, and they've got it. If they can somehow draw the double team at a baseline and ship out, now Michigan looking to put together hoops. Trying to get a run before the half, and he traveled against Rob Pelinka. That's 14 turnovers.
Pelinka's number is 3. That's what he's in there for. He is their three-point shooter.
2:50 first half. Clark, who checks in, sees his first action. Great move to the hoop. Muddy Clark, the freshman out of Westchester, Illinois. Talley gets it back, and Riley has moved his game to the outside. They've changed what they're going to do with him.
Could not get the ball inside. Duke's defense would not permit it. They put him high post, little side post. Give him a little freedom to stick up that jump shot.
The left-handed Hill bangs a 3.
He's happy. We saw him work out yesterday. Same spot. Must have taken 50 shots there. That's nice to see the work pay off.
As a result, Devils lead it by 20. Leitner says, I'll come out with you this time. Defense on the outside. Talley ships, and there's a foul. Offensive foul is the call. Wolverines do not like this one.
Once again, the Blue Devils talked about helping when the guards penetrate, and they just do such a solid job defensively. You know, I say you got to penetrate, and yep, they did. What happens? They slide over, and they get the charge.
3 fouls on Talley. Caleb back into the game. Talley sits. Inside of 2 minutes. Here's Hill. Lost it coming up after he put a good fake on Taylor. Lead Caleb. Couldn't quite get the handle. Pelinka, three-point artist, stepped inside that time. And it's hammered back in on the rebound by number 44, Rich McIver.
People talk about scouting, and what scouting does is Duke runs out on Pelinka. He smartly goes behind, and again, a good follow-up shot. Michigan's gotten 3 baskets that way, so they are aggressive going to the offensive glass.
Minute and a half. Do you remember how quickly Duke picked up 16 fouls? They have only 8. 7 against Michigan. So they're not yet in that 2 free throw period, which remember this year, 10 fouls, and the coaches are starting to howl about it.
Good. I'm going to be on it all year long. I don't like the rule. I don't think you can change the end of the game in basketball. It just has its own flow and rhythm.
Hammer off the jump shot. Everybody contributing for Duke. 8 men have scored for the Blue Devils here in the first half. Hill out on Taylor. And Hurley will go with Pelinka. Caleb puts it down, switching defense. Good jump shot by Demetrius Caleb.
Good decision by Caleb that time not to go too far. Stayed away from the charge, got the nice jump shot.
Last minute, but Michigan will get the ball back because of that 45-second shot clock at least once. Hill putting it down, has traveled.
This will be interesting. The coach, normally you want to hold for one. You'd like to. With the pressure of Duke, will you be able to? Sometimes it's almost better when you're troubled with the ball. So you might as well go. If you have an opportunity to score, go. Because I know Duke will put the pressure on here, knowing that if they're going to try and hold it. Let's see what Michigan does.
The Hills, Clark, Davis, and Hurley retreat on defense against Caleb, Riley, Pelinka, McIver, and Taylor of the Wolverines. Riley puts it on the floor off the dribble that time, was short with the shot. Follow underneath by Riley, and he'll come to the free throw line.
I like that decision by Steve Fisher. I like it. Go and play, because you have a much better chance of something positive happening. That's a good coaching move.
Reminder that coming up next, we'll take you down to take a look at Arizona. Are they as good as UNLV? Great test down against Dale Brown's LSU Bengal Tigers and Shaquille O'Neal. Coming up next here on ABC.
There appear to be levels of play this year, Brett. We've seen a lot of teams play. Vegas, Arizona, Arkansas seem to be in one level of play. Seem to be everybody else after that.
11 points for Riley. 19 seconds to go. Setter into the lineup, and Riley sits down.
Here's usually give it to your point guard. Either get him a pick or spread the court and let him go to the basket. One of the two. Either going to be a pick or he's just going to take it himself and make a pass.
The court is spread for Hurley. Caleb is out on him. 7 seconds. He penetrates. Jump pass to the inside and a lay-in by him.
That's why I used to coach a little bit.
45-28 Duke. And John Saunders will join you coming up here at halftime on ABC.
ABC's College Basketball. Brought to you by Radio Shack, America's technology store. Nobody compares.
Game against a Duke team that's played some of the best teams in the country already. Now you put all that together, you got an opportunity for an early season difficult game, shall I say, for the Wolverines.
Let's check in with Mark Jones.
Well, guys, the mood in the Michigan locker room was not a happy one. Steve Fisher coming out after the half, staring at the stat sheet and just shaking his head. I asked him what they felt about their first half, said they got to turn it around. Asked him what the mood was. He said, in one word, determined. Back to you.
And Valvano, what was it like coming to Cameron and not being on a bus?
Oh, it was the first time in 10 years I came here by car without a knot in my stomach.
They treated you rather warmly. One of the more creative student bodies in America, but somewhat quiet. Exams coming up. Blocked by Palmer. The 6th rejection by the Devils.
What a coach tends to do here is play the game in segments, Brent. What you tell your ball club is we're going to play a 5-minute game. Let's try to outscore Duke in a 5-minute segment and then go from there.
All right, on the floor for Michigan, Caleb dribbling the ball. Tolbert, Riley, Setter, and Talley with 3 personal fouls. Matched against Hurley, Leitner, Grant Hill, Palmer, and Thomas Hill. So both Hills will start the second half. Tolbert spins inside. And rebound Duke. Outlet to Hurley, the point guard. Leitner. And it'll go over as an illegal pick is the call against the Blue Devils. For Palmer, his second personal. Michigan's ball, trailing at 45-28.
It's always interesting to see what a coach adjustment he makes at the half. What type of offense will Michigan run now? They're going to try to get it inside. They spread in the court some. Let's take a look.
Billy McCaffrey will miss the second half because of a sprained ankle he suffered in the first half after scoring 9. That's why Thomas Hill is on the floor with Grant Hill to start the second half here for the Blue Devils. Michigan with Riley facing the basket. That's where he was the most effective. He put it up over the top of Leitner, and since he pulled his game out to the outside around the perimeter, he's been a different player entirely. Playing with his back to the basket, he had a lot of difficulty down in the low post. He's pulled the Wolverines to within 15, 45-30. It's the high score. Grant Hill can't get it to fall, and Riley off with a rebound, and the Wolverines looking for that run that would get him back in it.
And you can see the pace. It's slow, and yes, the word determined. They're going to try to win this 4 to 5 minute basketball game.
What was the scouting report that coach's son, Mark Fisher, gave you?
When you want to find out what's going on, ask the kid. We asked Mark Fisher, the son of Steve Fisher. He said, I like the guards. He said, we're a little better team than most people think. We'll see if he's right.
Traveling. Wolverines turn it over. Scout Mark. Sitting there next to Pops. Mama right there behind the bench. Hill to Hill. No foul. Bodies flying and a putback by Grant Hill. 15 points for Calvin Hill's son. And a 17-point Blue Devil lead. Tolbert will go in, and a push-off against Palmer. He was pushing Riley out, and he committed his 3rd personal.
Foul is on Duke's Riley Palmer, his 3rd. Team foul number 2.
Caleb with a 3.
Very nice play. They set a screen for him, freed him up, got down to 3. Michigan has changed its defense a little bit here. They're playing a 2-3 zone. They played man-to-man the entire first half.
Almost force a turnover, but Duke hustles for the loose ball. Thomas Hill steps inside the zone, hits the jumper. Thomas Hill with 8 points. So the two hills have become a mountain for Michigan to climb here this afternoon.
I wish I had said that.
I stole it from you, didn't I? Leitner bats it away. Ball out of bounds, Wolverines. Lang, who blocked 5 shots in the first half, replaces Crawford. So Crawford Palmer will sit, and Lang will move in low. Hurley, the 3 rolls out, and a foul against Thomas Hill up over the top. His 2nd personal.
Michigan's zone defense is going to give perimeter shots, and Hurley misses it here, and good block out position. And Thomas Hill puts that left hand over, and all the time, referees will call that a foul.
Michigan hoping to get Duke to 10 fouls in a hurry. with Calvin checking that number up on the board. 3 team fouls against the Blue Devils here already in the second half. The spinner by Caleb on the inside, a beautiful layup. Very positive run to start the second half for Michigan.
Just trying to win the 4 to 5 minute game. Get to that first commercial, say, fellas, we've cut into it. Now we play another 5-minute game.
This is a program that is very young, that has recruited extremely well for next year.
Don't feel sorry for Steve Fisher. He's got some great ones coming. Juwan Howard, 6'11" out of Chicago. As we see Grant Hill put a perimeter shot up. Not good. Out of bounds, back to the Wolverines. They got Jimmy King and Ray Jackson, both from Texas. And if they should get Chris Webber from Detroit, they're right back.
They are really in that hunt. For Chris Webber, it is probably coming down to Michigan and Michigan State. Although Kentucky, oh, they're ambitious. We'll be right back.
Back to our studios in New York, I'm John Saunders. Army, the cadets have just scored to take a 10-0 lead over Navy, and that'll make Mike Krzyzewski a very happy man, who, of course, coached at Army. Let's get it back to Brent and Jim.
They did that, John. 4 of those losses, Jim Valvano, just reminded me, were to Iona.
I think it's 3. I might have exaggerated. I probably exaggerated. I played against Mike, and then I coached against him for 15 consecutive years.
Do you miss not competing against him this year?
I don't want to be in here. I guarantee it's safer up here, up the top.
Or the Reynolds. That's where you wanted. All home games.
I like the home game.
Valley brings it up against the Duke pressure. 15:30 to go. 49-35. Duke with the lead in the second half. Caleb. He is hot right now. Demetrius Caleb with 15 points for the game. It's down to 12, and Michigan picking up the aggressiveness at the defensive end. They've got a turnover. They bust out 2-on-1. Hustling back, though, is Hill. Caleb in the air, and a putback by Tolbert.
Excellent reaction play. And this zone defense is bothering Duke a little bit. They're leaving a wing open, but trying to protect the back line. Duke's going to have to take some of those outside shots.
This is the absence of Billy McCaffrey is weighing against the Blue Devils right now. He is one of their better outside shooters, so Leitner will go to the glass.
Good point, Brent. Without McCaffrey, this is an excellent coaching move by Steve Fisher. We'll see how Duke reacts to it.
McCaffrey, as I told you a short time ago, sprained his ankle in that first half, put up 9 points before he left. Now Duke with the turnover, and there's the bust out. Lang. Officials timeout, another wet spot on the floor. 2 ball boys were hustling to wipe up the spilled Coca-Cola out beyond the inline, and Antonio Lang was coming down on top of him, and they had to hurry. And now timeout is called while the ball boys mop up the mess there behind the out-of-bounds line.
We talk about a man-to-man defense being a learning defense. You notice that the first time Michigan ran a pick and roll, it was successful. The second time, Duke jumped into a double team and got a turnover and a basket. A learning man-to-man defense.
(53-39) Duke. 3 team fouls against the Blue Devils, and Michigan without a single team foul here in the second half. These young men are doing a whale of a job, aren't they? Tough place to bring a team because of the student body here. They sit right at courtside. There's no fat cats at Duke down in those 50-yard line seats, folks. These are real students. I guess if the parents put up $20,000 a year to educate a child at Duke, you ought to be able to get a good seat at a basketball game. Nice job, young man. Michigan ball. Pressure defense being set. Lang to help out. And they get it over to Caleb, who has been leading the second half resurgence. And he draws the foul from Davis.
Duke is noted for its defense and really noted for when they want to turn it up a notch, they go full court pressure, man-to-man, a little bit of a touch foul there.
For Michigan, Setter, Caleb, Riley, Tolbert, and Talley with the ball. That's the 5 men Fisher has on the floor. He's finally settled into a lineup that he likes. changed his offensive strategy, started to pull Riley out away from the glass a little bit. And they've turned it over. It goes to the Blue Devils. Davis in the zone closing on him. Caleb the chaser outside. Hill, Hurley, Leitner, Davis, and Lang on the inside, and Hill traveled.
Duke is giving the perimeter shot right now, and I mean Michigan is, and I think Duke needs to take advantage of it and take it when it's there. Give what the defense, take what the defense gives you.
Michigan brings it up, trailing Duke 53-39. Trying to get inside Davis. Defensive help from Lang. Tried to force a 5. Riley up high with a nice turnaround jump shot. Lob pass. Riley taps it. Loose Michigan ball. Caleb Hurley goes down, and it goes against Michigan. A tough call, but a good play by Hurley.
Had a chance, Michigan did, to cut it to 10 points. Again, Duke always opportunistic defensively. Bobby Hurley looking for charges. I'm not sure. You're supposed to be standing still. It appeared he was moving. I don't agree with that call by the referee.
Fisher says, look, we've got 3 Big Ten referees in here. We don't expect that.
Been doing a lot of cleaning up on the floor also. I'll tell you, the kids are getting a workout.
It's warm in the building today. What they like to do to the locker rooms for these visiting teams here. Lang traveled. A little bit of a makeup. They've given it back. It was sort of rare seeing one of the referees arrive in a Mercedes-Benz today. I don't believe I've seen that in an arena before, Coach.
I asked him about it. He said, don't worry about it. It wasn't his. Then I found out he drives a Cadillac. So.
Here's Riley. Oh, Mitchell turned the other way. Mitchell had turned away from the pass, creating the free ball, and the reach back commits the personal. So a little bit of a sloppy play by Michigan, cost him a foul. Goes on back to Duke, and that's 2 team fouls against Michigan.
And 2 lost opportunities for the Wolverines to cut it to 10 points.
Here's Leitner. They attack him quickly to Grant Hill, and he gets the bounce. 17 for the Virginia freshman.
What an excellent pass from Leitner when he was double teamed. I tend to think Leitner, well, there's the call right now. Hurley doesn't like it, trying for another charge. That time it was a block. But getting back to Leitner, I think he's going to be a draft choice, very high in the NBA. I think he's a lottery choice.
But he says he will stay and complete his education at Duke, which means he'll be back next year. You tend to forget we've seen the likes of Christian Leitner, the NCAA tournament, for so long. You feel that he's already a senior, but he's not. He's a junior. And this Duke team is very young. So now Caleb setting the table for the Wolverines. Has to be strange for him not to see Ramil Robinson out in that backcourt. Terry Mills underneath. Lloyd Vaught. Even back to their championship days with Glenn Rice. The Campbell by Davis didn't get there. Shot is off the iron. Right back into the hands of the Wolverines. Put back and over the top. It was Taylor. So often out of frustration when the ball doesn't foul, the shooter will go hard against the rebound and commit the personal.
Sometimes that 3-point line makes you miss. You notice that time, Caleb said, I think I'll take 1 step back, and shot it was a little short.
We've got a timeout. So Fisher will take his troops out to the free throw line. We'll be right back. The famed Cameron, and I'm really disappointed that Jimmy Valvano could not get us down on the floor. I mean, we're still up here. I mean, Billy Packer got me a seat this bad.
This is the worst seat I've had in 10 years, and it's as hot up here as it was down there.
Get those coats off and everything else. Meanwhile, Billy McCaffrey, seated next to Jay Billis there in his suit. McCaffrey spraining an ankle in the first half after scoring 9. Jay Billis, and now an assistant coach here at Duke. Interesting what he did during the summer. He was in a film called I Come in Peace. He was a bad guy. He always struck me as a good guy. Hill stepping on the inside with a jump shot, and there's Davis. 2 white jerseys. Great play by Riley to reject it. Here comes Caleb. Bounce to Mitchell. Michigan back with a big field goal.
I'll tell you, the zone defense again causing some problems, and Michigan stays in it.
The absence of McCaffrey has meant a lot to how this second half has been played. McCaffrey, a splendid outside shooter this season. Someone trying to pick up the slack. Davis gets inside, and the putback layup by Grant Hill.
The reason this zone is causing Duke some problems is they don't really want to take the outside shot. Sure, the loss of McCaffrey hurts, but you have to. Everything's a drive right now. That's hurting them a little bit.
Caleb, and great block by Lang. That is his 6th block shot of the game for Antonio Lang, who added 21 pounds to his frame since September 1st.
Rob Palinka in for the Wolverines.
Palinka, the three-point artist, checking in. Caleb will get a break. He'll be back in a hurry. He has led the resurgence here in the second half. Yet, if you look at the scoreboard, Duke is still up by 14. Inside of 11 minutes to go. Taylor, Riley, Mitchell, Palinka, and Talley on the floor for the Wolverines. This is Talley working down the baseline with a jump shot. Could not get the bounce. Leitner battles, and Riley sticks right with him.
Excellent job by Riley. Not only get the rebound, he kept it up high, which is a fundamental a lot of big guys don't do. That allowed him to score.
After a shaky start, Riley has played splendidly. Leitner coming in is fouled by Riley that time, and he did not let Leitner come away with the field goal. That's 3 on the Michigan big man.
Duke still content to drive against the zone, and it is working. They're going high-low. Certainly, if they had Billy McCaffrey, they'd be able to take that three-point shot from the perimeter. But I still think somewhere along the line, you got to go inside, back outside, and have the confidence to knock home a 3.
Thomas Hill checks in for Duke. Leitner shooting a pair at the line. And Grant Hill now sits down. So Grant Hill picked up the scoring slack. Leitner, with that free throw, has 7 points for the game. He's their leading scorer, but today it has been the freshman who has done the damage, which would indicate that Riley has played very strong defense. Hill with 19 points, and they have held Leitner to 7 points here this afternoon. Missing, and there was a violation in the lane, and it's going to go against the Wolverines. It's against Taylor, so Leitner gets to shoot 1 free throw. Watch on the right, just stepped in too early. Setter replaces Mitchell.
Replacing Sam Mitchell.
Caleb back on the floor, along with Talley, Taylor, Riley, and Setter. Talley trapped in the corner, trying to force the turnover, and Lang fouled him.
Excellent double team. Quite often when you reach in, though, I know Coach Krzyzewski doesn't agree. Watch him reach and see if he reaches in. There's that reach in. When you reach in, referees tend to say you're going to grab some part of the arm there and you get the foul.
16 fouls against Duke. 4 against Michigan. 59-45. 10-15 second half. Since a 10-0 run in the first half, Duke has been on the lead, but Michigan has played well here in the second half. Talley's shot is blocked by Thomas Hill, but it winds up in Caleb's hands. Bounce baseline. Taylor up over Leitner.
Very strong move and very fortunate for Duke that they didn't get a foul. Could have been easily called that 3rd foul on Christian Leitner.
The lead is at 12 by Duke. Michigan can't seem to get over that 10-point hurdle here in the second half. Hurley, now they get another chance. Riley with the rebound, they can cut it. Lead pass, open man. And Leitner was the only defender. Caleb is back just short with the shot. Another missed opportunity to come within 10. Davis passes up the shot, waits for the half-court offensive set.
Won't shoot it, Brent. They will not take that perimeter J. Got to do it.
Hill works the baseline. Leitner on the inside, knocked out of bounds, and it's Michigan ball.
Michigan has had an awful lot of chances, Brent, to come back. Here's just another one. A good pass and an awfully good move back here. The shots missed. A lot of hustle. Caleb's doing a great job keeping things alive. But again, they just can't get it to go in the basket. Would have cut it again to 10 points. It's the third chance they've had to cut it to 10 points.
59-37. Here they come. Caleb. He quarterbacks the half court. Setter out high. Looking for the pass. Now he puts it on the floor. Bad pass because Grant Hill had come back to the passing lane. Now 2-on-1. Hurley breaks through for the layup. That's like a 4-point swing in seconds.
Setter, absolutely no threat to score. He had an opportunity to drive to the basket. Didn't want to shoot it. And that hurts you. He may be lefty or righty, but he only takes 2 shots a game, so I guess it doesn't matter. But he needs to become offensively oriented.
It's Taylor with the dribble and Thomas Hill out on him. Caleb is in the corner. He'll take it. There's the 3.
3 for Demetrius Caleb.
It's 11 and 18 for Demetrius Caleb. I'll say one thing about the young Wolverines. They did not die an easy death in the Cameron. They are hanging tough here in the second half. They were a 15-point underdog by some coming into this game. Early at the top. Dish to Leitner, loose, and Setter got the turnover. Now Michigan with a chance to come to within 9. Let's see if they can do it. Taylor short with the shot, and back to Duke.
Awfully quick shot. You're on the bench and you say, my goodness, we got a shot to get this thing under 10, and bam, you throw a quick one. Nobody under, and another missed opportunity.
7:30. Early out high, passing in low to Davis. Grant Hill wants a Leitner in the paint. Bounce to Davis. Nice pass from Leitner. So instead of 9, it's a 13-point lead. It's 63-50. Michigan could have been all over it. Now it's Talley on a dribble. Need to get Riley back into this offense. He'll come out high. Now Setter, and he is fouled. No need to foul Setter, and that is another team foul here against Duke. They'll be shooting 1-on-1. That's the 7th. So that'll put them on the line for the 1-and-1. 3 more, they'll be shooting 2 all the way. And a reminder, tomorrow night, Jim Valvano's favorite detective is back on the case. Columbo is teaching a course on the perfect crime when the classroom turns into the murder scene. Robert Culp will guess with Peter Falk when Columbo goes to college. Tomorrow night at 9, 8 Central on ABC.
How's he going to shoot this ambidextrous player, righty or lefty? You know, I had a player once who had a great game shooting righty and lefty, and the righty said to him, my goodness, use both hands. And he said, yeah, I've always been amphibious. So let's see how he does it here.
He did it lefty.
Did it lefty, and it worked. He's amphibious, too.
You know, the young man is really very fortunate. There on the side of his face, you can see on the right side a very deep scar. He was in a nasty car accident. He was driving home from practice in high school. And he was hit by a drunk driver, and it was a violent accident. And he's so lucky because it was close to the eye. We were talking about it yesterday. And this was his second choice. He was interested in Duke and Michigan. It came down to the 2 schools, and he wound up at he could not go wrong with those 2 selections, believe me. Great schools. Hill now coming up. Leitner off his hand. Thomas Hill off the fake of the paint, rejected by Riley. Another block. It's a 3-on-1. Michigan with an opportunity. Tolbert comes up into Hurley. And offensive foul as Bobby Hurley gets the job done.
Decisions and decisions. Great point guards make great decisions. The 3-on-1 could have held it a little bit longer to deliver the ball. Instead, it allowed Hurley that opportunity to get over there for the charge.
A timeout at the 6:36 mark. We'll come right back to Durham.
Welcome back, everybody. Duke leading 63-51. I'm with Bucky Waters. Bucky, you coached here for 4 years. You're now vice chancellor of the medical school. Would you rather be coaching?
No. I enjoy this, but I don't want to chase high school kids anymore.
Had enough of it. What do you think of the game?
Oh, I think the move to the zone with McCaffrey out with the Duke's best shooter has worked marvelously in the second half. This is a very intimate environment, but I look for Duke to go to Leitner in the second half, deep.
Jim Brandy still sounds like a coach. I don't know about you.
Well, you know, Mark,
He's doing fine up there. He's a natural.
Bucky Waters raised a lot of money for a hospital here in Durham. The storyline of our game, 23 turnovers by Michigan, 17 for Duke, fast break points. Duke 16 and Michigan 6, but Eric Riley keeping the Wolverines in it.
Right, I think that Coach Fisher's done a great job in the second half, controlling the tempo that we talked at the top of the show and getting Riley in the game.
So it's Hurley, Thomas Hill, and Grant Hill, Leitner, and Davis handling the ball. That's the 5 on the floor for Coach K here with 6:10 to go in the second half. And Leitner off the dribbles left alone. Wouldn't roll for him. And he gets it back from Riley. And a foul underneath. Leitner will shoot a pair of free throws, but he's unhappy with himself that he couldn't put the field goal away.
Coach Krzyzewski's looking against this zone to go high-low. He feels that if you can get the ball high to Leitner, he will have the opportunity. 3 things. The old triple threat. He can shoot it, he can pass it, and he can drive to the basket.
4 personal fouls on Eric Riley. So a big swing in this game with 6 minutes to go and 4 personals on Michigan's big man.
Sweet, leave him in. No decision. You're down. You've come back this far. 6 minutes to play. Let him play. Do not take him out and put him back in. Just let him play the 6 minutes.
Down 13 at the 6-minute mark. Look for Fisher. We'll try and have Mitchell help out underneath. Mitchell will take the ball out of bounds, get it into Talley's hands. And at the other end, Caleb and Riley along with Tolbert. They will attack for the Wolverines, and it's stolen by Thomas Hill. Fisher uses a timeout.
That's Michigan's last timeout, and so they don't have any more down the stretch. So it means Steve Fisher felt he had to stop this run right now. And it's going to be interesting to see. I feel that if Duke doesn't attack that zone defense better, look for Christian Leitner to step outside even more because he has such a good outside shot.
11 steals by Duke.
Okay, again, what we talked about. If your offense isn't clicking, if your defense is consistent, you score points off the D. And here's Thomas Hill playing great defense, right? Denying the ball, goes in, gets the 2 points. And again, what they do is deny the next pass. And there's a perfect example of why Duke's defense is effective. They don't let you get into your offense. Good job by Thomas Hill.
Was a foul committed? Fisher was complaining, and they've had a conference with the referee on that last steal.
If there was a foul on that particular play, it might have been after the ball was stolen. It might have even been a push-off on the Michigan guy. I didn't think so there. But again, I want to point out, I think that Fisher has done a great job in his adjustments in the locker room. You know, this is his team now. You win a national championship as he did, and a lot of people say, hey, it's not your guy. 2 things are going on now. He showed he can recruit with the best, and number 2, he's making adjustments during the game. He's an excellent coach, and he's doing a good job today.
Fisher has Michigan out by the free throw line, getting them away from the students here at Duke who wanted so madly to help him coach in the camera this afternoon. I remember doing a broadcast of a game in Landover, and Hubie Brown, we wanted to get the cameras and the microphones inside the huddle. He said yes, but if I ever take the huddle out by the free throw line, stay away from it. Well, cameraman, he forgot. He waited in on Hubie. It's a shame we went in on that huddle out at the free throw line. There was a reason why Hubie Brown wanted to talk to Tree Rollins privately and not publicly.
Some excellent verbal communication.
Yes, you would say he was making his point emphatically. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
I think so. Sometimes it's gotten so loud in here, I wanted to go in the parking lot with my team.
And next, big one down in Baton Rouge. LSU and Arizona. Everybody's saying if UNLV isn't number 1, Arizona may be. You want to check out Chris Mills. So that's coming your way a little bit later this afternoon on ABC. Now Michigan down by 16, 5:44 to go. Coming back to the attack. Riley, the big man, wants to screen. Oh, he could have picked up his 5th on that when he stuck his knee out. Tolbert is open in 3-point land. Leitner off the miss. Here's Hurley, and he traveled.
Excellent call by the officials, right on the play. You see what happens when the point guard gets it. Right? Now, sometimes, whose fault is that? You know whose fault? Christian Lane doesn't make a lot of mistakes. That happens to the big guys. So you're supposed to take a look up court before you make the pass. There's a defender right there. Michigan, obviously, no timeout. Steve Fisher said, I got to stop it now. Could get important if it does get that close, but I'm not sure Michigan's going to get that close.
One television timeout is left around the 4-minute mark. 5:22 to go right now. Down by 16. It's 67-51.
Duke handles the ball much too well. You can't stay in the zone when you're trying to come back. You got to go man-to-man. Eventually, if they've got the lead, Duke, they'll pull them out.
The lane is open for Hill on the reverse wraparound. Now, we're told that because Fisher used that timeout, Talley on the drive, that I am wrong. Riley couldn't get the putback. There will not be a natural break. So it will be extremely difficult for Michigan. But first things first, they're down in that point column, 69-51, 4:45. So again, there is not a natural break because Fisher used that timeout.
That timeout was more to settle the troops because they've done a good job. You want something positive to come out of this. They're not going to come back and win this game, but you want something positive out of it. And so if you can settle it down and get it even closer, you did a good job.
On the steal, Tolbert on the drive at the other end, and he's fouled by Hill. He'll come to the free throw line, and he'll be shooting 2. That's 4 fouls on the leading scorer for Duke here this afternoon, Grant Hill.
Everybody says that you should learn something in a loss, and that's true. But you should also learn something in a win. I think that Mike Krzyzewski learned that his basketball team could be a little susceptible to zone defenses. If you can pack it back and make it hard to get the ball to Christian Laettner, and you got Billy McCaffrey on the bench, who's going to take that shot? You can't always drive.
Looking at that scoring column as far as Michigan is concerned, Caleb with 18, Riley with 17. They've been the big scorers. And as far as Duke is concerned, Grant Hill with 19, Laettner with 10, and Thomas Hill with 12. So the Hills have combined for 22 points. Davis takes the ball out of bounds. He's with Hurley, the 2 Hills, and Laettner down the stretch here at 4:25 against Taylor, Talley, Caleb, McIver, number 44, the freshman from Texas, back in down on the low blocks along with Riley.
And as I expected, they went back to a man-to-man defense. For that very reason, Duke would just kind of bring it out.
Davis off the dribble. Off McIver's hand, saves it in the corner, ships deep to Hill. Laettner underneath, left-handed wraparound. Fisher wanting the Wolverines to speed it up and get into their offense. Down 71-52 and 3:50 to go. Laettner cuts off Riley. Duke forcing the ball out high. Caleb off the jump shot. Laettner jump switch. McIver rebound. On a putback, he is fouled. This one against Thomas Hill is his third. So Coach K has put together one of the classiest programs in America. The Final Four 3 straight times and 4 of the last 5 years.
To me, that is the incredible aspect of their achievement here. To get to the Final Four, I know for me, one time was such a highlight. The thought of going 3 years in a row, 4 out of 5, is a great credit to his coaching staff, to Mike, and the whole program here, too.
They've averaged 28 wins over the last 7 seasons.
Last decade for Michigan's been pretty good, too. They've won an IT championship, national championship, 2 Big Ten championships.
Not a bad football team at Ann Arbor either. They'll be headed down to the Gator Bowl to take on Mississippi. Happiest man on that football team is Elvis Gerback. He did not have to go to Memphis. You imagine Elvis Gerback taking a football team to Memphis. Hurley on the drive, and there's a foul down on the inside.
Duke is not an easy team to come back against because they spread the floor, handle the ball well, pass it well, and they're an excellent foul shooting team.
One has to be very impressed with Eric Riley, who after a shaky start really stood tall against Christian Laettner here this afternoon for the Wolverines.
What coaching is all about is putting players in a position where they can do well. And I thought the adjustment to give him some room to play was a good adjustment by the Michigan coaching staff.
Duke leading 71-53. And headed for their 6th victory. They step inside Clark. Rebound by McIver, knocked away by Clark. Kubek, long pass. Here's Early inside of Talley. It's a 20-point lead at the 3-minute mark. Riley, and Leitner blocks him that time. Taylor getting on the inside, stays right with it, and the foul goes against Duke. One of the things about Riley that Fisher pointed out during last night's practice is they have been forced to use him for a lot of minutes late in the game, and coach feels that he needs a little more rest.
He's been averaging 36 minutes a game. In fact, one game, 39 minutes. He's playing almost the whole game. Sam Mitchell's the key. They've got to get him in the game more. I know they're going to do that as they play more games. This is still only their 4th game of the season.
Taylor will shoot the free throw. You know who enjoyed coming to the Cameron today for this game almost as much as you and I did?
Who is that?
Our executive producer, Jeff Mason.
And
graduated.
why might that be?
Graduated from Duke. He inspired a lot of this craziness around this gym. Hurley bringing it down to the attack at the 2:40 mark, 73-55. Clark steps out. Leitner's open low. Wanted another pass. Michigan with a turnover. Taylor is cut off by Hurley. Here's Caleb. He's inside the 3. Didn't matter. Kubek. Lead Hurley. Open man is Antonio Lang, and he's fouled by Caleb. Couple of free throws coming up.
You know, the game that's coming up after this one is such an interesting matchup because of the really, I mean, Shaquille O'Neal is probably, not probably, he's definitely the best big man in the country. At least that's my opinion. But he's got to go up against that 2-headed center monster of Arizona, where you got Sean Brooks and Brian Williams. That's going to be interesting. But Shaquille is really something special. I'll tell you, Brent, there's very little he can't do from that center position.
Tolbert, Sutter, Talley, checking in for the Wolverines. Well, we have a moment. I'm sure he's watching on TV back in Ann Arbor. I want to send along our best to Trip Wellborn. Great safety for Michigan's football team, who blew out a knee against Minnesota. Reconstructive knee surgery. He's a senior. Figures that still go in the 1st round of the NFL draft. And if anybody can work his way back, it is Wellborn. A young man with great determination, and how disheartening that is for a senior in the latter stages of his career in football with that kind of a future to blow a knee out. The roll for Duke, 74-55, 2:10 coming up here in regulation. The Blue Devils are going to win this, and Michigan comes off its first road game, a tough loss at Cameron, a learning experience for them.
They'll be much better for this. You got to do it. It's just like a trip to the dentist. I got to go play a road game. You have to go. You have to get hammered, and then you got to say, now we're better for it. You'll play so much better the next time.
Yeah, but did you have to have a root canal done at the game? Back to Taylor, who hits the 3. Well, let's just go in for a little cleaning.
Well, this was a little bit more than that this time.
74-58. Ball was out of bounds.
But there's a lot to build on in this second half for Michigan. There's a lot to build on. They've really played so much better in the second half.
1:40. It is 74-58. Duke with the lead. Caleb on a spinner. Beautiful move by the Michigan guard. It's a 14-point lead.
It's an old Eastern League move, huh, Brent?
And 20 points for Caleb. Hurley with the ball on the dribble, bringing some seconds off that clock. Devils are up by 14. Here's Clark off the fake, works the baseline, and he hits center. Offensive foul at the 1-minute mark. Riley checking back in for Coach Fisher with Caleb, Tolbert, Talley, and Taylor. And Riley will take the ball out of bounds.
10-team foul.
Coming up next, Arizona, LSU down Baton Rouge way. Steal, and he double dribbled. He had the steal. Crawford Palmer picked the ball up and put it down again. Inside of a minute to go. 10 team fouls against Duke and 8 against Michigan. So again, Duke started out with a lot of fouls early in both halves, but it took a while for them to get to 10. And new rules certainly did not affect the outcome of this game. Now Taylor comes over Lang. 74-62. It's a 12-point lead. And Taylor steals it, makes it a 10-point game, and he'll come to the line.
One thing you got to be impressed with is Michigan has stayed with it right till the end. They're going to leave here feeling good about themselves and know what they have to do to get better, but they had a very positive second half. On the other hand, Coach Krzyzewski, this is where you get on your guys later.
Taylor completes the three-point play with the free throw. Remember that at one point here in the second half, Duke was up by 20. And now it is down to 9. 74-65 with 37 seconds.
But the fans are saying goodbye. They know no 9-point plays in Michigan's bag.
Strange that they're not putting him on the line in a hurry. Clark would be the player to put on the line, but instead they steal it. That's even better. Here comes Tolbert at 22 seconds. Knocked away. Great pass to Caleb. Wrap around. Slammed back by Riley, but that was offensive interference. No basket.
That's where you want to say, come on, ref. Give us that one. Look at it. We get the steal. We get a nice pass from the Duke player. Right? A little dipsy-do. Boom. Good call. Hands in the cylinder. Can't give it to you.
Palmer comes back with the final seconds ticking off. Clark dribbling free at the 10-second mark. Lang comes in for the slam, and Riley fouls out of the game. With 7 seconds to go, Eric Riley, who played very well here in Durham, is fouled out of the game. Riley's line is 17 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 block shots. That's a monster. And equally impressive, Christian Laettner scored only 12 points against him here this afternoon. So Lang salting this one away for the Blue Devils, who will extend their record to 6-2. Michigan falls to 3-1. This game did not have the drama of last year. It was in Ann Arbor. Caleb's three, and at the buzzer. You never know. Look at that scoreboard, 75-68. A 7-point victory by the Blue Devils here this afternoon in Durham. And John Saunders will join you coming up in just a moment.
ABC's College Basketball has been brought to you by Honda, maker of fine quality automobiles. Test drive a Honda at your local dealer today. And by the Milford Plaza, one of New York's finest hotels. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in